Squats. Hi, and I'm a third-year PhD student at the University of Michigan. Today I'd like to introduce you to EV sport. Part of the reason I'm here today is because there are way too many photos like this about China in the past 2 years or so. For those who are not familiar with this photo, it's called a sunny day in Beijing. So the air quality in Beijing is getting worse and worse recently. There are many reasons causing this air quality problem, but 30% of that smog is contributed by road transportation. Well, some of you might think 30% is not even the majority yet, but the problem is that's from the amount of vehicles we currently have on the road, and we're putting many more onto the road. So China is already the #1 vehicle producer and consumer in the world. And the market, the sales is going up 21%. That's the latest sales figure. And when the sales is slow, it's still 7% growth. And what's more frightening is the vehicle ownership in China currently is 3%, which means it still has a large market to go. A lot of people still want to buy cars. In the US, this percentage is 80%. So can you imagine what a sunny day in Beijing would look like if we keep doing this in the next 5 years? Well, there's obviously we need to do something different, and there's the urgent need to do something different. So one potential way out of this is electric vehicles, which has zero tailpipe emission. Well, it still has some emission from generating the electricity, but overall, it's better. The government has spent a lot of money to build the charging infrastructure to invest in battery technologies. The industry has put in a lot of efforts to come up with almost about 30 different models of electrical vehicles now. But now, the problem on the road is people are not buying electric vehicles. This is the goal of Chinese government, to put 500,000 electric vehicles, or they call new energy vehicles, onto the road. In 2012, they managed to sell about 10,000 of them. And this year, we're very promising to double that amount. But that is still very far from the goal. So why people are not buying electric vehicles? The real problem is market research shows that people are not buying electric vehicles because, #1, range anxiety. What if I take a trip and I run out of the electricity in the middle of the trip? And while you say, okay, there are still plug-in electric vehicles which you can use both electricity and gasoline, but it's more expensive. With government subsidies, actually it's not always more expensive because it's cheaper to drive on electricity than drive on gasoline on a per mile basis. It's 30% cheaper. But people don't know how many percentage of my miles will be able to be driven on electricity versus gasoline, so they don't know how much money they can save and whether it's worth or not to invest in electric vehicles and what would be the payback time for their investment. So all it comes back is there's no easy tool for them to evaluate whether electric vehicle is a good option for them and how large a battery size they would need. Because the currently available models has a battery range from 30 miles to up to 300 miles. How are you going to choose from that? So the solution of this problem is to create a user-friendly, very easy-to-use tool to quantitatively help consumers to evaluate electric vehicle options, to help them to buy the right car and save money, and also live green, have a smaller carbon footprint, and we have a better air in Beijing and in many urban cities in China. How large is the market? Well, the vehicle sales this year, with the past 9-month data and projection, is 20 million vehicles. So market research shows that 20% of people are willing to consider buying electric vehicles. So that gives us 4 million potential users for this tool, or 4 million people potentially need this tool. And keep in mind that this market is growing with a rate of 7 to 21%, which means our potential users are also growing up with this percent of rate. So what EV Score would bring is a product, it's a smartphone app, which you can use as a tool to evaluate electric vehicle options. So this is just a demo. The real version would be much nicer with the picture of the car and look more sleek. But what I want to show is, it's very easy to use. You download the app, you set up an account, answer a few questions to set up, and then you leave it alone. You don't need to do anything. You don't have to start a trip, end the trip. You just click go, start. And then with the preset frequency, the user would receive a report of what are the best 3 electric vehicles in the market suit their needs. And we would have an overall score, and we're also going to tell them roughly how much money they can save by choosing that vehicle. And also what are the environmental impacts they would have. And also sometimes it would have a time impact as well. For example, if my longest trip is 300 miles, I can buy a 300 miles car, but I spend a lot of money. But if that's the only trip, I could forego that trip, taking alternative rental car, but I have to sacrifice some of my time for that choice. So we would evaluate that as well. And as a bonus, we have some few cost-saving tips for the user of the app to choose alternative route or delay their trip. And we also consider charging opportunities from their travel pattern to have a better evaluation. So our business model is, it will be a free app to the users to provide them the tool and the information. But we're going to collect their trajectory data. And that data will be sold to data consumers with or without our analytical services, because we are experts in analyzing that data. And the data consumer will generate avenue for us. And what's more important, we're going to share part of the avenue with the app user as incentive for them to keep using our app and share the data with us. They have the option to opt in or opt out with sharing the data with us. So we want to provide some incentives. So the data user, the potential revenue could come from obviously auto companies, also marketing firms, management consulting firms, government, research institute, and other data users. So currently, Microsoft Asia is buying transportation data. I had a conversation with the executive technical lead in Ford and about how hard to get private trajectory data on how people use their vehicles. And there are a lot of researchers are paying money for this type of data already. So there's a readily available market. But we expect our largest revenue to come from auto companies because we're making they get the most benefits out of it. So currently the auto companies are spending $2 million in marketing electric vehicles. With a conservative estimate, 10% of that would be in China because it's the largest market. And if we take 0.5% revenue out of that, it's $1 billion per year revenue. And with this high growth market, it's 30% annual growth, and yet the data service has a 20% EBITDA margin. So our competition, I just want to highlight that currently there are a lot of apps, and they are all of them are startups come out with last year or two. So we're excited about this potential opportunity, but really we have very special competitive advantages because we have the cutting edge technology, and we have built-in charging opportunities, and we have what requires minimum effort from users. And we have a capable team to execute this business idea. So the core technology in this app comes from my doctoral research, And our co-founder, Ming Xu, he is a professor and have a very well-established network to help us build partnerships with potential data consumers. And Yang Li is a software engineer. So with that, EV4, we hope to build a potential business, sustainable business with sustainable outcomes. And it doesn't require a lot of money for us to success. So, and invest us, you're investing in the blue skies in the China in the future. Thank you.
Great idea. No business. Let's talk through a hypothetical business based on your idea.
Sure.
A dealer in China distributes your app to her customers who she wants to come back in and buy a car, but they're on the fence.
Right.
When they do come back and buy a car, do you get a piece of that?
No.
So they're just paying for the data.
Well, our revenue really comes from the data. So
the dealers are buying the data, right?
The dealers and the data could be used in multiple areas. For example, Ford are looking for this type of data to design how large is the battery car they should distribute or into the market. They're looking for this type of data. They also look for user data who are interested in electric vehicles. They could get our user data and provide advertisements directly to them, or they could provide more like incentives, discounts to help them get over the fence and buy electric vehicles.
I have a few questions. So firstly, what is your pricing for instance, like automotive companies? Like, are you based on the volume of the data to charge them, or how are you going to charge them?
So it will be based on the volume of the data, the number of vehicles, the length of the data, depending on what their purpose is. We will have to discuss with them. And currently, with 1 month of data, that's taxi data in Beijing, it's cost $600 for 1 month of data. So, but we can also provide them data analytics services. So it's also depending on whether they just want the data or they want our services as well. And they can subscribe to our database, or they can buy batch of that data as well, just to like pay $600 and get 1 month of data.
The next question is, when you're building this model, have you considered the current trend in the automotive companies? Because yes, they do encounter a lot of difficulties in selling electric vehicles, and now the new initiative for those companies, including Volvo and other automakers, they're splitting the electronic cars with a battery. So they rent the battery, and then the car itself is very cheap, because the most expensive component in the electrical car is the battery. So, and then the battery renting, they're rather losing money and getting the market share they wanted. So with that strategy, how does that embed into your model? Do you consider these type of competition? So meaning, why would they want to buy your data?
Right, you mean why the auto companies would want to buy our data?
Yeah, why the automotive company wanted to buy your data if they're doing these type of market expanding exercise already.
Right, so there are multi-layer of information embedded in that data. One is what are the charging opportunities people have, how large a battery they need. So if they split out the battery part out of the vehicle, they don't do battery anymore, they only sell the vehicle, potentially they still need information on where they should build like battery swapping stations. I guess that would answer your question.
Processing the information.
And also, a lot of, because smart urban cities is a trend nowadays as well, so that data also provides information on how people use the city. And one advantage we have is we're collecting data not just for the vehicle part, and also the other part in your life. So potentially, currently it's an EV app, but we have the potential to expand to become a mobility app.
Thank you.
Once they decide on the vehicle, do you have something that refers them to a local area where they can purchase the vehicle or get a face-to-face with the vehicle?
We don't currently have that, but that's a great idea to have.
Question.
Yeah.
So it seems that your whole business idea is based off the assumption that people don't buy EV cars because they don't have enough transparent data. What if people don't buy EV cars simply because they saw that they're expensive?
Well, there are multiple reasons why people don't buy electric vehicles. I can say that with the app, they are going to buy electric vehicle for sure, but there are a lot of people hold back just because they don't know whether or not they can save money or they're going to spend more money. And also because for electric vehicles, there are just too many variety of them. They are very different from each other. So it's just a tool to help them make a decision, but we don't guarantee that they're going to buy electric vehicle.
Question. I'm curious about why you choose the product to be an app, because to buy a car is a big cost, and when people choose to buy a car, they will tend to consult all kinds of websites, those like history data, and those response from all those people who used to buy EV cars. I mean, they won't just make a decision based on an ad. I simply think that a website contains of more information might be like suited for a customer, because natural essence of the ad is that people will need to check it daily, every time. But when people want to buy a car, they won't check it daily and say, yes, I don't understand why you choose my ad as a product.
Right. So on our website, they have a lot of information, but that information is not customized for you. The reason we choose it's an app is you have it on your phone. It's collecting your trajectory data. They collect where you are on a certain time point and use that to analyze how large a battery you would need based on your trajectory. So it's customized analysis, which you can't get online from any of those information.
Then the question is like, you mean when the customer already buy a car, he will keep track on how many money he will be using the car, right? But like existing customer, for those who don't buy an EV car, they won't keep track of how many gas they use every month, how many money they pay for gas and monthly. It's like why you assume that they will keep track of how many money they use.
They don't have to keep track. They get a report every month or every 2 months at the frequency they set up. For current driver, if you are looking for buy electric vehicle, we can help you to evaluate how market options suit your needs. And for current drivers who are not particularly looking for electric vehicles, there are a few cost-saving tips that we give you. You can check to see, if I do this thing a little bit different, I can save money, actually help you with your fuel economy. And for people who don't currently own an electric vehicle, that's the key point of this app, is you don't have to drive a car to use an app for this evaluation. We can pick out the data and do the evaluation, do the simulation for you.